Hello, this is Jefferson from Giving is Good. Today we have some people with us who are doing some pretty special things for people in time of need when they are going through some things that are painful in life, going through an experience that most people hope they never have to go through. And they're going to tell us a little bit about their journey. They're going to walk us through it. For some people, it's very hard to hear. It's a very needed subject to have a discussion on. A lot of people live with this type of pain. So we have Brooke and Brandon Rawlinson from the Audrey Mckenna Foundation. And they were acting like a 501c3 from their life experience, and they started doing something, and they're going to tell us their story. And then somebody said, hey, you should really turn this into something because there's some people that really need what y'all are doing. So I'm going to turn it over to y'all and let y'all tell us your experience because it is so unique, and I don't think, me talking about your experience really doesn't do it justice. Right. I haven't been there, right. And I think when you all tell it carries weight, and what you're doing for people that are going through these issues is phenomenal. So tell us what you're doing. Walk us through the beginning and tell us your story.
Right. All right. So we found out was it June? Mm-hmm. We found out in June that we were pregnant with our second baby, what we thought was going to be our second baby. We have a son named Connor, who's about to turn 2 later this month. Mm-hmm. So we found out in June we were pregnant. A little bit later, we found out that it was actually going to be twins. She was having some sickness and stuff like that we were thinking it was going to be a girl this time, just because of the sickness. She didn't have that with our son. And so we were excited about that. And then we found out it was twins. We found out they were pretty rare twins. They're mono twins, which means they're in the same amniotic sac and they share a placenta. So the egg just split later than most do. The next, if it would have split even later, they might have been conjoined twins.
Okay.
And so it's fairly rare thing to have mono twins. So the high risk was that since they're in the same sac, they have the possibility of getting their cords tangled up.
Okay.
So that's ended up what happened with our girls. So we went into the specialist appointment on November 6th. We were going every week to an appointment to check on them every single week to a high-risk OB. So we went on November 6th. They flashed the ultrasound up. We could tell that they weren't there anymore. They had passed away. So, which was kind of shocking for us because you can still feel them move. Which you don't really know at the time, but because they're both in the amniotic sac, they're still
with the fluid.
With the fluid in it, everything's still moving.
So they're still moving around with your body function, and
exactly with you moving around.
We had no clue when we went into that appointment. Right. We thought it was just going to be a normal appointment. Both of us, it was in Arlington, and so we had about a 35-minute drive to get there, and both of us just kind of felt uneasy going into the appointment. No, we didn't have any warning signs or anything like that, but we both just kind of discussed it, and we're like, okay, it's going to be fine. Every appointment we had multiple tests done that the doctors thought were important. Every test came back perfect. Our girls were healthy. They were growing right on schedule. So it was definitely a shock when we went in for our ultrasound and saw that they didn't have heartbeats anymore.
And so then once that happened, we talked to our OB that we used, Dr. Brown, who's amazing. Talked to him, so she then had to give birth, so we had to go into the hospital. They were 19 weeks at that time. We went into the hospital. They induced her.
Did they take you in immediately, or do you have to schedule that?
We had to schedule it. We since we were at our specialist appointment in Arlington, and it's kind of a weird, tricky thing, the balance of going to your specialist OB and then your regular OB. Okay. So this was one of those times that it was our regular OB kind of scheduling everything for us. Okay. So we got the call from him, and it was kind of determining which hospital we were going to deliver at, who had a spot available for us, because, they have people coming in and out all the time who are having live births. So we were finally able to, probably about 5 hours later, get that scheduled. and we went into the hospital, and I was in labor for about 21 hours before they were born. So the following day, about noon was when they were born. So.
Yeah, November 7th they were born.
So you find out you're going first, you're headed to the hospital, you are going to find out about your babies, and then you find out that they're not there anymore, that they've been lost. Then you have to schedule the procedure. I don't know what they call that. It's not a medical term I'm familiar with.
Yeah, it's it's a normal birth.
It's just going in like you were going to have a baby and be induced.
Yeah, they
so
put her. I mean, she had labor just like you normally would.
Okay.
All that. So yeah, we had the girls on the 7th. You get to hold them, do all the normal stuff you would. Chaplain comes in a lot. You have a lot of talk about funeral homes. If you want them cremated, buried, anything like that. We had already decided that we were going to have them cremated the day before whenever we were talking about it. So we, got to hold them and all that stuff as much as we wanted, and we sent them to the funeral home.
Okay.
Went home, the day after that? Went home the day after that, saw our son, all that stuff. Then we decided that I was going to make the cremation box. I have a furniture business that I do on the side from being a firefighter. So I was going to make the cremation box. You get a small plastic box from the funeral home that just has their name kind of taped on the outside of it.
But we knew we wanted.
It doesn't seem fitting, does it?
No, we wanted something special for them,
and you can buy a much nicer one. So I mean, if no one has. If you have that option to have money and you want to buy one, it just so happened that I had a furniture business, so I knew I could make one. So I went home, I made one out of maple and Bolivian rosewood. I have a CNC machine at my shop, so I CNC'd their names on top, personalized it, things like that.
Wow.
and their birthday.
And their birthday. And we picked them up. So there's a 48-hour hold on until they can cremate the body, just in case there's any investigations or anything like that. It's a state of Texas. Yeah, any testing, anything like that. So we had to wait 48 hours. We went and got them on
Monday morning.
Yeah, Monday morning. Went and picked them up and took them home, put them in the cremation box, took a picture. We had already posted on Facebook at that time that we had lost them. I posted the cremation box, and it got a lot of likes on it, obviously. A lot of love was shown to us on social media. And so I thought, maybe this could be something that we do, is that maybe I could build cremation boxes for people who don't have the money or just, don't want to think about something else right now, and just something else on their plate.
It was important to us to, after we lost our girls, to have a special spot for them to come home to. We wanted, Brandon worked really hard that weekend after we got home from the hospital because we wanted a special place for them. We didn't want to just bring them home and, okay, what are we going to do with them? We wanted to already have something special. So that was important to us too, that we know other parents are going through this too, and we wanted them to have something special for their baby or babies to come home to.
It's an incredibly painful time, and then you're trying to figure out, as a family, what do we do, right? Where do we take them? What do we put them in?
Right.
Yes.
And then, like you said, you want a special place for them, and you had already made that decision to have them cremated, and then so you go home and you make a cremation box, custom in your shop, with your own hands. Out of love,
right? Absolutely.
For your daughters,
yes,
right? And you bring them home, you pick them up, and you bring them home, and you put them in their spot, right?
Absolutely.
So then people see what you have done, and they see what you've been through. They see that journey, and firemen. You're a fireman, and they are, they band together and they take care of each other and. I'm sure that probably made it through lots of social media.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, once we once we decided, I said, maybe this can, something good can come out of this terrible situation.
We also wanted a way for our girls to be remembered. They're
Right.
so important to us, and just because they had passed away doesn't mean we're going to stop talking about them or stop honoring them. And so this was our way to be able to honor them and share them with everybody, much many more
Right.
people than we ever thought would know their name.
And a lot of times with stillbirths and stuff like that, no one ever says their name. No one knows them, anything like that. So with Audrey and McKenna, it was kind of way that people say Audrey and McKenna, and a lot of people now think about our girls when those names come up, thankfully. So, I said, so maybe there's a way that we can help. I was like, maybe I can make, 10 of them or something like that. If people want them, just kind of put it out there that we'll do it for free. She made a couple bracelets for herself, and she said maybe this can be a way that, people can pay for materials if people buy these. Something just help us out so we're not buying all the materials. And we posted that on Facebook, and it went like crazy.
Yeah.
And then we were like, okay, wow, this might actually be something big.
Yeah.
And so I started a Facebook page on November 14th for the girls, and kind of put our story out there, said what we wanted to do, and within 2 months it reached over 7 million people. We raised a bunch of funds. We're up to like $30,000 now in funds in just a few months, because it's still only been 4 months now.
Yep.
So we raised a bunch of funds. We had to get all our paperwork in line, which was, huge and daunting. We're trying to get it all done. We were receiving hundreds of messages a day of people that are needing cremation boxes, hospitals that wanted our services in there. We didn't know that we figured that there was something like this already out there.
Yeah.
But we were very shocked that, we had nurses from New York and hospitals from New York and California.
All over the U.S., people reaching out to us wanting our cremation boxes in their hospital to be able to share our foundation with their patients.
Wow.
And a lot of people, too, were just reaching out saying, I've been through this. I lost my child at 20 weeks, 38 weeks, whatever it was, and just were thankful to have somebody to relate to.
Right.
So many times people feel like they can't talk about it because it's such a sad and hard subject, which we understand.
Right.
But I think us having our page and people just being able to connect and relate and share their story really helped other people grieve as well.
Absolutely.
I know there is a picture on your page with you holding the girls. And when I saw that for the first time, that was a little hard for me, because those are my father daughters, and you're holding daughters, and that was hard to watch.
And we
it's hard to see that.
Yeah, they had asked us initially. They said, "Do you want photos when you get the girls?" And we said yes. Well, first we said we don't know, and then we said yes. And then when we saw them again, it was a little bit of a shock. They don't look like you expect in your head what your twins look like. And we were kind of on the fence again. Obviously, we're crying and upset.
Yeah, we had been crying
terrible
for
time.
24 hours.
Right.
And, hair not done, just not what you imagine. Okay, I'm having my baby at the hospital. You think of all these, you got the right swaddle for the matching robe, and, your hair's done stuff. And that was not what we had pictured for our girls.
And luckily, the nurses urged us to, if you have any inkling that you want to take pictures, take them. You don't have to ever look at them again if you don't want to. There's just a terrible subject, and blah blah blah.
But this is the only time.
This is the only time you're going to be able to do it. And so we did that picture that you were talking about. A nurse took it of me, and we are so glad we did. Now we have their pictures up in our rooms and things like that. So
and they're beautiful and perfect to us. They're exactly who our girls are.
Right. They're your daughters. When you're holding them. Yeah, absolutely.
That subject, and I have friends that have lost babies in the womb, and they celebrate the birthday, and so we didn't go through that, but I know people who have been through that process, and I know there's healing and pain and all that follows, and what you guys are doing, providing those families with something. It's simple, right? Yes. But it's made. It's custom, and it's made out of love.
It's made by me.
It's made by you, and that it's special, and y'all are doing something for those families that most people don't know how to make it. Most people
Right.
wouldn't necessarily think about it. They probably never thought they would be in this position.
Right.
Of course.
Absolutely.
So you don't wake up in the morning going, I need to make one of these.
Right.
Right, especially if you haven't ever done any woodworking before or anything like that, you're kind of be at a loss. So I was thankful with my background that it was something that was doable for me. But yeah, every one of them is made by me, solely by me. It's a, while I'm making it, kind of feels good to me that, you know, I'm kind of showing honor to our girls, and you know, we both work very hard for the for the foundation, but it's really been helpful for us in easing the pain and stuff like that.
Are you all going to have to add people to help you build these? And you make bracelets, and you're making the cremation boxes?
She made over 1,000 bracelets
Bracelets.
fairly quick.
In about 2 months.
We sent them to Australia, sent them to overseas military.
Almost every state in the U.S., somebody has one of our bracelets.
We've
so,
got boxes. How many states do we have boxes in now?
I think close to 20.
Yeah, we have boxes in 20 states now. We have more. We were, you know, with my business and my fire, it was kind of a business was going great, and so it was finding the time to, okay, let me finish my business stuff and now build boxes and kind of,
And him working his regular full-time job and, you know, being a husband and dad. It's definitely a balance that we're learning that we didn't know.
Initially it was a work. We were up answering messages on Facebook until 1 in the morning, going to sleep, waking up at 7 and answering more messages. And while we're messaging, when we answered 10, 15 come in. And
was never catching up, so.
It was extremely stressful at the beginning.
I bet. Are family members coming to you guys and saying, my daughter, my son, they just lost their child, can you please build them a box? You know, what do you think the wait time is going to be in the future doing what you're doing?
So right now we have, how many requests do you think we have?
We've received probably hundreds of requests over the last 4 months.
Yes.
We do ask that parents, whoever has lost the child, directly contact us because we know when we were in our situation with our girls, we had lots of people offering to do things for us, and you want something that fits your family and your child or children, and so it's very important to us that we talk directly with the parents, and we know it's such a hard time for them, but we want to give them exactly what they are looking for, whether it's the personalization name, maybe they want like a little extra quote. We've had several people.
We've had nicknames that we needed to put on it, things that are just special
songs,
to them.
You know, just different things like that. So we do ask the parents to contact us directly just so we can work with them. But we are. It is a few months out. We try to knock out as many as we can each month. We are working with a few hospitals local to the DFW area. So we get requests straight from their patients so we can make sure and take care of them and get them done just as quickly as possible. Because like I said, you know, when you're in our position and you lost that baby, you want something sooner than later for them to come home to. So.
But you guys only have so much time.
Right.
Yes. And you're still young parents.
Yes.
Full-time jobs.
Yes.
Moms.
Yes.
Getting kids to, you know, daycare and school and preschool and all the things that you've got to do.
Yes.
And then you've got your full-time job, your woodworking business, and then the foundation. And you're making a crazy amount of bracelets.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot going on in y'all's world.
Right.
But you are still finding a way to give back to people in a very painful part of their life. And that in itself is an inspiration that a lot of people, it's hard for people to go, hey, I'm going to take my pain and not necessarily hold on to it, but channel it into something positive so I can help other people. So that inspiration is incredible for the audience to hear, you know, for people to hear and to go, hey, maybe it's not the best thing to just sit around and be absorbed and you know, held by that. Maybe I can turn this into something and help other people.
And ours did that very quickly. Obviously blew up a lot bigger than we expected. It forced the issue. Exactly.
Yes.
It not only did it not necessarily take our mind off of things. You're so busy you can't really think about the pain you're going through and stuff like that. But just hearing other stories, there's worse stories than ours. There's better stories than ours. It's kind of all over the place. You know, we got to ton of pictures of other babies that had passed, things like that. And so seeing that just from people venting and, telling their pain, which is, fine with us, perfect. If it helps them, that's all we're there for. And so that just, once you see a subject a ton of times in a short period, it kind of numbs it a little bit, makes it easier and say, wow, these people had it terrible over here. They lost, we had a family who had quads and they lost 3 of them.
Oh gosh.
So I mean, there's some terrible stories out there that we've read. So I mean, we are absolutely blessed to be able to do what we do with our foundation. And a ton of people even have said, I wish I would have thought of something to do with when I lost my baby. I just didn't think of it, or I was hurting too much or something. And we've had a ton of people donate that have lost kids to us. So I mean, it's been a healing process for a lot of people, which has been a blessing for everybody, I think.
So let's talk about needs, for a little bit. What in the future you can see now? You can see there's a need for something that came out of this, and now you're assessing it, and you're fairly new into it. Right. You've got all your paperwork done. You already had a wood shop, so that just it's bizarre how things work out in life, right? Sometimes. So what are the needs of the Audrey and Mckenna Foundation as you are going through, you're looking a year into it, 5 years into it, right? You're going to have 1,000 box orders, you're going to have people coming to you from a bunch of hospitals, right? So there's a demand issue. Right. How do you perceive those needs coming in the future? What's your thoughts?
We'll definitely have to make a team at some point. And I think a lot of people initially think you have a team. We had a lady reach out from a national organization. The second our Facebook page kind of went viral, and she said, "Hey, y'all are the hot topic." She said it's gonna get crazy for y'all pretty quick. She said just kind of stick to your guns, do what you want to do, what you feel is best for your foundation. There's going to be people that think you ought to do it differently, things like that. She said, and everybody is going to want things very quick. There's going to be people that say, "Oh, I need this information really quick. Oh, can you give me this information? I need that." And she said, everyone just automatically thinks because you're a foundation or a nonprofit, you have a full team assembled and everything's ready to go.
It's just y'all.
It's just me and her answering messages. But so I think we will have to have a team of, not necessarily to help with social media. We've kind of had that dialed down. We have automatic answers to questions that are coming in. Our most asked questions and things like that. We've had a few woodworkers reach out saying that they could help make boxes and things like that.
Which would be huge.
Obviously, funds are super helpful. Each box costs us anywhere from $40 to $50, and that's for materials for me to make it and for us to ship it.
Okay.
So not a ton of money goes into each one. We don't make any money.
It's not $5. It's not
$5 either.
Plus the man hours.
Right. And shipping goes anywhere from $10 to, if we're shipping across the country, sometimes it's $30.
We shipped one to Hawaii about last month, so that was a little bit more, but
probably $60-$70 to put it on UPS to go that way.
And so we have, and in each box she makes a bracelet. We do a handwritten card and things like that for the family. But I would say needs is just, I would say money, definitely prayers, woodworkers. If there's any woodworkers out there that's willing to give a hand, I have the plans that I wrote up in my shop. They're not difficult to make. It's just knowing how to make it, and having the time and the just want to do it,
I think that's something different about us is we're so passionate about this.
Right.
For us, we spend hours and hours and hours, and obviously we aren't getting paid. We don't make any money from our foundation, but it's so meaningful to us. And to get the messages after we've sent a box to a family that just says, this is perfect. This is just what I was looking for my baby. It's like, that's what makes staying up till midnight or getting up super early or, all the trips to Home Depot and Lowe's and the post office and everything else. It makes it so worth it. Like, that's all we want.
There might be some lumber needs.
Yes.
Somebody that's interested in donating some lumber to y'all's foundation.
I buy a lot of maple.
There you go. Somebody who has maple.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that would be amazing.
And then stuff to make bracelets.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So you're shipping bracelets everywhere, and you're going in boxes as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of money and time, and there's so much time
Right.
in what you guys are doing. you
That's
know,
the main
so-
thing I feel like that we spend is time. On it. But that's why we're doing it. It's important to us,
Sure.
And it's almost it's hard to let it go and have someone else make a box because this
It's
is
so
why.
special.
Yeah, this is why the foundation was made for our girls, for me to make the boxes. So there's kind of that,
What do you do?
pull of, obviously I don't want everyone else to make the boxes. I want to make the majority of the boxes. So it's, it's almost not necessarily a pride thing. I just want to do right by my girls and want to do the majority of the work and things like that. But definitely, it's getting to a point where I'm going to need help with woodworking just to crank out these boxes,
Maybe
because there's so
just-
many people in need.
Maybe
Yes.
you just have to expand your operation
Exactly.
and have people come in that you oversee so they
Exactly.
can be to your specifications and
Right.
quality, and
Right.
you can put the messages that you want.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's another thing with all our stuff being personalized. It's hard. Not everyone has a CNC.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
I'm
Yeah.
thankful that I have a CNC. But it's if you get a box and then they've got to ship it back to you and then you're shipping it to the patient, it's kind of like, are we losing more money? You know what I mean? Then are we being right by our donors' money? Because that's a big thing to us. Is
Definitely.
we get the lowest prices and we do as much work as we can ourselves, just to make the money stretch as far as we can.
You're concerned about being a steward of the money that's
Absolutely.
coming in,
Definitely.
so you can make the most out of the foundation.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
We want to be able to help as many people as we can and be able to send out as
Mm-hmm.
many cremation boxes for years and years to come. I mean, this is
Right.
something that hopefully our son, who's 2 right now, but hopefully, he'll learn how to do woodworking stuff from Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
And we hope one day that he's running the Audrey Mckenna Foundation
Right.
as well, because it's that important to us.
Well, what a story, And I know people, were reaching out to you in a bunch of different facets, and I think there's so many people that go through this, and they never go through the healing process. They bury it. They don't want to talk about
Right.
it. And then hey, that stuff resurfaces.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
Oh, yes.
You can't keep all of that buried forever. It's
Right.
going to come up at some point in their
Right.
life, I thank you for coming in, telling
thank
your
you.
story, and being a part of what we're doing. I think there is benefit for people out there to hear what you guys have gone through and that inspiration. To me, the story, y'all have a very specific thing that you are doing for people.
Right.
But on the other side of this, it's the inspiration that is so defining of how y'all are helping other people, which you may not. It's the consequence of what y'all are doing,
Right.
unintended consequence.
Yes.
That people go, golly, look what they went through. Now look what they're doing. Look who they're benefiting. And it's that inspiration that I think people are probably a little more fascinated by,
Right.
because they're seeing themselves going through this,
Right.
coming out of the other side going, hey, I could do something.
And we've had people that have got boxes from us, and they've started making things for their hospitals or to sell to people who have lost
Yeah.
babies. So, I mean, we've had probably 3 or 4 people start little things
Sure.
since then.
Which is just amazing
Yeah,
to
which is-
us and just mind-blowing almost.
Inspiring.
It's just,
Right.
yes.
Right?
Yes.
But when we started getting so much traction, we would sit in bed at night and talk and be like, what's happening? Why is
It
this?
just doesn't even seem like it's really happening to us almost.
I have a business page and I work very hard at my business page and I have like 3,000 likes. And within like 6 hours, she was like, we're about to pass your business page. I've been working on that for 5 years.
Yeah.
This is, so I mean, we got a lot of traction very quickly. And
Yeah.
it was shocking to us how big this kind of blew up and how much it's needed and how much people care about it. It's huge for us.
Well, you touch people's hearts,
Right.
right? So you met people at a different level,
Yes.
right? You run a business,
Right.
I run a business, we meet people at different levels there. This is touching their heart.
Right. It's an
which
emotional subject.
That's right.
Right.
Yes.
That's right. It's such a different level of,
Absolutely.
people going, wow, So I thank you guys for coming. I thank y'all for telling your story and sharing your experience with us. I know you do it on a normal basis as you are explaining it to other people. It's still hard to discuss. It's hard to talk about. It's hard to go through.
It is.
You know, and people will appreciate that. I think they will, you know, I think you're going to find more people to give, and you may find the people that can come help you.
Right.
You know,
Perfect.
there's got to be a bunch of retired guys
Yes.
out
There's got
there
to
going, man, I'll go down there in
I'll go
Midlothian and work in that wood shop and start
Exactly.
making stuff.
Exactly.
I'll help Brandon out.
Absolutely.
You know,
I'd
and-
appreciate
That
it.
would be
Yeah, absolutely. And there's probably some moms that go, I can make bracelets.
Right. Mhm.
We'll get
Yes.
the kids, and you know, we'll have little bracelet making projects,
Yes.
and they help you. You know, there's just people that want to get involved
Right.
with something that actually means something.
Right.
So if you are out there in the public and you are inspired by their story, and maybe you've been through this process and you know what this pain is like, and you want to get involved and help Brooke and Brandon, they would probably love the help.
That'd be great. Yeah,
way
absolutely.
more need than they can produce.
Right.
Okay, so thank you for
Thank you
coming.
very
and,
much.
Thank you for
and,
having us.
Man, we're inspired.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We
you.
appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Thank
We
you.
Thank
appreciate
you.
your service.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for putting out fires.
Yes. Yes. Very
Absolutely.
thankful.
Always, right?
Absolutely.
Man, if there's anything that's needed. So, thank you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you all.